Hello, Algebra 1 students. In this video, we are going to examine how all forms of a linear equation are equivalent. And they're all derived from the slope formula. And I find that it makes it easier for you to understand how all of these fit together if I just show you how the manipulation works. So before I begin, a couple of things. The first thing is that algebraic manipulation is just a process of logical thinking and following the rules, the properties of numbers. And it is an important skill for you to learn. The second thing is that this type of manipulation often requires that students have to work with fractions. And so I'm hopeful that this sort of gets you used to the idea that fractions are an important part of algebra and we cannot walk away from them or ignore them. So here are the 2 points that we're going to work with. 3, 5, negative 2, 2. But before we actually start working with them, I want to demonstrate to you how we get point-slope form of a linear equation from the slope formula. So here we go. We've got the slope formula. So I want to isolate y on this side of the equation. So that means I've got to multiply both sides by x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Okay, that'll cross cancel it here. It'll show up over here. Now what's interesting about this is I just want you to see, look at this. This is directly point-slope form of a linear equation. We don't have to do anything else to it right now. We plug in a point off of the line and the slope, and there you have it. Okay, you could find any other point on that line from this formula. And also to let you see exactly what we're going to be doing, here is the slope formula. So you're going to be finding the slope. You're going to be plugging in a point and the slope into point-slope form. You're going to simplify point-slope to get slope-intercept, y equals mx plus b. And then, lastly, you're going to manipulate slope-intercept to get to standard form. Now, we're going to move in this flow because it is a natural flow of procedures, okay? These two forms of a line, you can work back and forth between them pretty easily. Not so much going backwards to point-slope form, okay? So we're going to go in this direction. You'll see how it flows, and hopefully this helps you understand. Okay, so we're going to begin with the slope. We have 3, 5, negative 2, 2. Remember, x is written first in Algebra 1, y is written second, all right? Also remember, it doesn't matter which point you begin with. You could start with this one, or you could start with this one. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you keep things straight in your mind. You keep your signs straight, and you make sure that you're not blending a y with an x. Your y's have to be together, and your x's have to be together. And whatever point you start with, in my case, I started with 2. So I've got 2 minus 5. And then I've got negative 2 minus 3. Okay? You do this arithmetic, you get negative 3 divided by negative 5. A negative divided by a negative is a positive, so my slope of this line is 3/5. Moving on to the easiest part, we picked a point. You can see that I picked 3, 5. So I'm just showing you how I am plugging in the y value near the y, the x value near the x, and here's my slope. So now let's move into the form that has all the arithmetic. And I'm going to try to do this step by step, and I hope this helps you and doesn't confuse you. Okay? So there are 3 things that you have to do to convert point slope into slope intercept. Okay? The first thing you have to do is you've got to kick this y coordinate to the other side of your equation. Okay? Then you have to distribute this multiplication and get rid of the parentheses. And then lastly, you have to combine this number with this number. You have to combine your constants. So here you can see I've already added 5 to both sides. And here you can see the result of me multiplying 3/5 times x, 3/5 times negative 3/1. Remember, fraction multiplication goes straight across, so we end up with negative 9/5. All right? So we're almost home free, young people. The only thing we need to do is we need to add 5 to negative 9/5. Now, you are not able to just add these two together. Okay, the rules of mathematics state that if you want to add a fraction to a whole number, you need to convert the fraction to, the whole number, sorry. You have to convert the whole number to a fraction with a common denominator. So this little box here shows me doing that. I took the 5/1. I multiplied it by what we in math call a fancy form of 1, 5 divided by 5. And then we multiplied straight across, and look what we got. We got a number that I'm sure you can recognize means the same thing as 5. Only it's written in fifths, so that I can combine 25/5 with negative 9/5. Okay? In fraction addition, please recall that you only add the numerators. You let the denominators alone. Okay? So 25 minus 9 is 16. So my final answer for point slope form for this particular set of points that I chose is y equals 3/5 x plus 16/5. Now let's do the last piece. And remember, feel free to stop this video anytime you need to and go back. So now we're looking at slope-intercept, and I want to put it into standard form. Well, you only have to do 2 things, okay? The first thing you have to do is you have to move your x term to the other side of the equation, because in standard form, the x and the y are on the same side. Okay, so you can see that I did that here. I subtracted 3/5 x, and it showed up over here. Okay? The second thing you have to do, So here you can see that I wrote this equation, my new equation, after I moved the x term. I've got my x and my y on the same side, but I have one more problem. In standard form, you are not allowed to have any fractions. You must have integer coefficients. So therefore, we need to clear these fractions. And the way we're going to do that is we are going to multiply all three terms by whatever my denominator is. In this case, it's 5. So I'm multiplying negative 3/5 x times 5, y times 5, and 16/5 times 5. And you can see what's going to happen here, right? These two 5s are going to cross cancel, which is going to leave me with negative 3x. 5 times y is going to equal 5y. And once again, for this fraction, the 5s are going to cross cancel each other. And I'm going to end up with negative 3x plus 5y equals 16. So one more thing before we finish this video, I'm going to go to Desmos and I'm going to demonstrate to you what this looks like. So here we are in Desmos, and I'm going to increase my field of screen if I can. Okay, really quick now. Here you see our 2 points. Okay, -2, +2, +3, +5. Okay, here's our point slope form that we found. Look where it goes. Bam, right through those 2 points. Okay, now watch as I overlay y equals mx plus b. Once again, same exact line goes through both of those points. And then last but not least, here is our y equals mx plus, our standard form. And you can see all 3 lines, they're all the same. They all incorporate our points. Okay? Thank you guys for listening. See you in the next one.